Hey guys, well, welcome back
Hello.
to another episode of the Red Circle. I think this is number 12.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about energy.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about how, and I think this is the last foundational topic.
Yeah.
And energy is so, encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you think about is oil. And then you think okay, coal, still use somewhat paddies for the horses and stuff, like fertilizer.
Like burning it?
Yeah, they still do that today.
Where?
In other countries.
Oh, okay. Third world countries.
Yeah.
We live on the border, and we get to see people burning
tires,
boxes, everything. Mm-hmm. And then the pollution is very interesting.
Yeah, and wood. Mm-hmm. Wood is energy, right?
It is. My in-laws, that's how they stay warm in the winter.
Yeah.
We have to go to the Gila, and we chop wood.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It takes forever. A cord of wood.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can buy different licenses. So they buy one from the Gila National Forest where you can only pick dead trees. So we pay to clear the forest for them.
Wow.
But they get wood to stay warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it makes sense, it's probably cheaper than natural gas.
Yeah, it is.
So the house probably smells like wood, though.
It does, which is nice sometimes, but not nice sometimes.
I wonder what that does to your lungs over time.
So theirs is a wood-burning stove, and it's made for heating a home.
Okay.
So it's kind of a closed system where it allows enough air to come in, and you can kind of close this door that it literally is like a furnace. It's you feel the hot air coming out, and it rumbles a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they got it special made by this guy out in New Mexico, and it heats the whole house.
Wow.
Yeah, very efficient.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got oil, coal, wood, cow patties. Kerosene, which is oil. It's an oil derivative, just like natural gas is an oil derivative.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of these things, you even have whale fat, right? They were burning whale fat.
Yeah.
What else? You have solar energy, right?
Solar, wind,
right.
Water.
So I found and then Captain Planet. You just need heart.
You just need heart.
You just need heart. You need the Indian boy that has heart.
Yeah.
I think he was Indian.
Oh no.
I don't know.
And then other parts of the world, geothermal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have nuclear
power, yes.
Nuclear power, and then you have. Now we can go away from this model, and then you could go to food. Okay, so food can be considered energy, and then you can go away from that model, and then you can go into labor. Labor is energy in a certain aspect, right?
Yeah, it is.
So controlling all of these things is kind of the modus operandi, right? It's their goal, right? So you have the petrodollar, right? You've heard of the petrodollar or whatever, right? That everything that's traded in oil, they wanted it to be traded in dollars. A lot of these countries are going away from that now.
Right now, it's happening. Yeah. Yeah,
like Russia and India, China and Russia, because Russia has a lot of that oil. So
that's a lot of our power in the world, the petrodollar and how we kind of control that, and we're losing control.
Yeah.
Biden is losing control. Shocker.
Yeah, let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. No, but it seems like it's orchestrated on purpose.
Yes.
So, I remember Trump, he bought a bunch of oil reserves at literally the bottom of the market, right? At the bottom of the price market.
Yeah, got the best deal.
Yeah, and they gave him so much heck for it. And now they're using it, right? And that's what's lowering our gas price. Our gas price would probably be $6 right now if we didn't.
Our gas doesn't need to be as high as it is. The second Biden got into office, he stopped pipelines. He stopped people leases. He stopped renewing the leases so that we can pump our own. We have more oil in America and offshore here. We could power ourselves and all of our allies. They used to think that they always, how they call oil a fossil fuel. They used to think it wasn't a renewable resource. We're gonna just use it all up one day. now they don't call it that anymore, but they don't talk about it. They're thinking it's renewable and that the earth just makes it. Whatever process that goes into the earth being the earth, which is so interesting. They don't talk about that. They still, it's like a scarcity mindset. Like, it's going to end one day.
Yeah, I remember peak oil.
Yeah.
Remember peak oil?
Yes.
That was a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember peak oil. And I remember watching the early YouTube video on peak oil. I'm like, oh, crap. Better buy a small car. You know?
Conserve. Yeah, but no, that's not.
Oil and Rockefeller go together like peas and carrots, to quote Forrest Gump. His father was a snake oil salesman.
Okay.
So he literally would go town to town and selling snake oil. And he would like rob from his kids and swindle his kids. And he there's a quote of him saying something to the effect that, yeah, I teach them this so that they won't get swindled when they grow up. Right? And he was like a snake oil salesman, literally a snake oil salesman. And then Rockefeller worked for a guy that did oil, and Rockefeller wanted to partner with him. He didn't want to, so then he went and started his own. But it wasn't oil like you think of today. It was like kerosene. Because they didn't use, there was no cars, there was no planes, they weren't using gasoline.
Yeah.
They were using it just for light.
Okay.
We're using wood to heat the house, and the kerosene for light. So like you'd have the little kerosene light.
Lamps. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it was. And so he started creating kerosene, but then he had all this excess leftover oil, and that's where he started creating motor oil and things like that with Henry Ford, and then he became like this giant once they started creating gasoline. So he was one of those guys that he wanted to use every little drip of everything to maximize on what he was doing.
It's just smart.
So then he created his own manufacturing plant. So he wasn't just, getting the oil and then refining it. He was doing everything that was connected to it. And then he started cornering the markets with different things, like working with the railroads, and the railroad guys had to work with him on how much they would charge to move his freight because he had more than them. And he slowly just built up this huge monopoly.
Okay.
Interesting thing about gasoline is that before, when gasoline was first coming out, there was two major competitors to fuel the cars. And the first one was not gasoline. The first one was alcohol. Okay,
Yeah.
So if you think about alcohol is very combustible. That's really the difference, right? It's something like you light it on fire, it stays on fire, it catches on fire.
Yeah.
That pressure of the expanding air is what, sends the piston down, right? Alcohol you can make from almost anything.
Anything, yeah. Easy.
You could eat your apple and then throw the apple leftover core and make alcohol.
Yeah.
Like you can literally make alcohol from anything. You can get grass clippings. You could get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And it's everywhere. So what Rockefeller did is he went and he jumped on the bandwagon with this girl that was going around and promoting prohibition, because she was thinking that alcohol was ruining the Christians, right? She was a very Christian lady. And so then that's what created prohibition. And he got behind it because he didn't want alcohol to be used as a fuel for cars.
Oh.
That's why, so he created the limit of how much alcohol you can have in your car, and it still stands today, and it was 20%. So that's why when you go to car and it has, I forget ethanol, which is made from corn,
Yes.
you can only have up to 20% because of Rockefeller didn't want a competitor, right?
Wow.
So if you really think about it, think about this, like if you really want to go green, okay, let's have a hypothetical here, right? And I'm no scientist or whatever, but I'm just gonna give a hypothetical. We use a lot of gasoline, especially me. They drive a lot. And imagine each person had their own distillery in their backyard, right? That you order on Amazon, right, for $500, and you just put it together. You know, you pay an extra $100 for somebody to put it together, and all of your leftover food that is fermentable, you throw into this thing,
and it makes the gas for your car.
And it makes gasoline for your car.
That would be amazing.
And forever, you have fuel for your car.
Yeah, and there's no waste.
Yeah, you're going green. Like, it's super green, right?
Yeah.
And you're not drinking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I guess if you want to drink it, you know what I mean?
Just don't go blind.
It probably doesn't taste well. Gross. You know what I mean? But I'm sure somebody could figure out a system that would give you the ability. You know, you can't have a distillery in your own house.
Even like a micro, like, to make
you
your
can
own.
do beer, but you can't make alcohol.
Oh.
Why?
I didn't know that.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
You can make wine. That's why they have the moonshiners.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These guys, they're getting chased around by people like they're selling drugs.
Yeah.
Where you could go to the store and buy alcohol.
Yeah.
My ancestors on my mom's side are hillbillies.
Oh, really?
From West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah. My family went up and did a family reunion. I wasn't there. And they were playing on, like, beer can guitars.
Stop it!
Yeah, and straight hillbillies.
With spoons?
Drinking moonshine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're all straight hillbillies. And they've been chased around, people like that. Poor people just making alcohol, right? Cheaper than they can buy it at the store. Better tasting. I don't know. I don't drink. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously there's a market for it. There's a market for it. And then and because they don't have a license and they're not regulated and, you know, they don't want you to use it for your car. I think it all goes back to that, is the control of the alcohol, right?
That's interesting.
Like to me, that's a big deal. Like, if you get these guys, like these hillbillies, and they make it out of scrap metal in the middle of the woods with no electricity, no light.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how they make alcohol.
We can do it. It would be easy.
Some engineer at MIT can figure it out where it won't be dangerous. You can make it in your backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So somebody make it and send me one. Okay? I won't do it. I won't make it, okay? Okay?
Wink, wink.
IRS or whatever,
Have
whoever it
you
is.
heard of people making car engines that run off of water?
Yes, there's a guy in El Paso
Stop.
that was murdered.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. People that figure this technology out,
He was murdered.
they end up dying of strange causes.
He was murdered, 100%. They killed his ass.
That's sad.
They killed his ass.
That's
He drove from here to Phoenix and back
on the car.
On a gallon of water.
See, like, yes.
I think it was.
And what's more sustainable than water? And then the emissions that the car puts out on water.
Yeah, there's no emissions.
Right? Exactly.
It's like, oh, it's too much O. It's too much It's too much H.
Too much H and O in this atmosphere.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
It's greenhouse gases.
That's so crazy. And then all of them end up dying of mysterious causes.
Yeah, all of them. There's that one guy that has the thing that cleans water, gets water out of the air that you can drink.
Yes.
You seen that one?
Yes. I want to learn how to do that.
I think he's in Houston.
Yeah. So like a humidifier humidifies the air. So they create basically a dehumidifier, which pulls it out.
Yeah. And then the condensation goes and then they drink the
Then
condensation.
you can drink it. That's so awesome. And then in, like a shit hits the fan type of scenario where you don't have a well, you don't have a water source, the freaking air has water in it. Like, that's super awesome. That's a good thing to have. There was a guy on TikTok that was showing everybody that he figured out a water engine, and the comments under his TikTok was like, don't post this, you're gonna end up dead. Like, look up these two names. There's two dudes that were like famous for that, and they ended up dying of mysterious causes. And they're like, just be careful, don't post this. That's when I first realized that there's a technology like that. And everybody, like, don't post this, you're gonna die.
Let me go further. Okay, so then he He monopolized oil. He monopolized natural gas. He monopolized diesel, gasoline, motor oil. Like, think about all the oils. Cooking oils.
Oh, wow.
So he bought into agricultural.
Okay.
And he started buying all the farms, and he started making and then he's the one where we get a lot of the focus on corn. So if you look up corn and the way that the corn used to be,
Oh,
it's very different than it is today.
The look of it, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, it looks like old corn looks weird.
Yeah.
It looks really weird.
Yeah, it does. There's like barely any kernels. It's very thin, colorful. Yeah.
So then he started taking over that. So you can make canola oil and peanut oil, all the different types of vegetable oils. Before canola oil, vegetable oil, what did we use to cook with?
Fat. Butter.
Fat and butter.
Which is fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I love to do is I'll make bacon, and then I'll take all the grease, and then I'll make the eggs with the bacon grease.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's a natural fat.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even have to make fat.
Yeah.
Fat came out of the food. So you think about all of the sicknesses that we have today are all from these alternative seed oils.
Yeah. So much inflammation. It's just so bad for our bodies. It's poison. And we're cooking with it.
Yeah, and then they made margarine. I don't even know what the hell margarine is.
I had heard this guy talking about the process of making margarine and how it smells disgusting. And they have to do a lot to it to make it not smell bad and taste good. Jeez. And we were marketed that as it's better for you. It's healthier for you. Oh, butter and fat. Yeah. Ew, that's bad for you. The opposite was true.
Yeah.
That's how it's been, though, with the government. Everything that they tell us is not. It's the opposite.
It's the summer of George from Seinfeld. So he did everything opposite of what he normally did. You know? Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna stay home and I'm gonna wear a velvet jumpsuit and eat blocks of cheese. And that's what he said it was gonna make him successful, right? And everything he touched went to gold. So that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. A velvet jumpsuit and blocks of cheese.
Yeah.
Do the opposite of what the government tells you to do.
100%.
Literally. I mean, that's how you survive COVID, doing the opposite of what the government tells you to do.
We are so unique. I want to see the statistics on how many people that refuse to take the vaccines. I want to see these statistics.
Yeah. Because
I think you want to talk about survival of the fittest, like, I will not conform, right?
Yeah.
So many people just took the jab and the booster and drank all the propaganda. And now, like, they're not calling me the people that said that I was crazy, that said I'm killing grand people, I'm killing old people.
Yeah. Grand people.
I'm like, I have no heart, I have no care for other people. They're double vaxxed and triple masked, walking around with a condom on. Like,
yes.
Like gee whiz. Like, and they ruined businesses. They ruined people's lives. They got them fired from jobs.
Yes. Yeah. Livelihoods. Like, when a business goes, it's not just a business. Like, that's somebody's livelihood. That's something that they worked on. They made from scratch. And then they closed it for nothing. Closed it down, lost everything. And then the greatest transfer of wealth is happening during that, where they're keeping Walmart open, but your small bookstore can't stay open, but Walmart can stay open?
Yeah.
How and why?
All the spread happened at Walmart.
Yeah, they did. They did studies here locally, and all of the big box stores were the super spreaders.
Yeah.
If you question things, which you should do, you're a crazy person. Why? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? And I feel like it would be easier if people just went with their own experiences. For example, anybody that's ever had a loved one in the hospital, like, doctors are amazing, nurses are amazing, but anytime I've ever been in a hospital, we've had to advocate for our loved one to get any kind of proper care. Period.
Yeah.
Period. Like, that's it. Like, you don't get proper care, in my opinion. You have to advocate for it. And then you're just going to give away everything to a doctor. Well, as the doctor said, yeah, but the doctor also doesn't know everything.
Yeah.
No. Not everything.
No, he doesn't. But that's another thing Rockefeller took over was
The medical stuff.
The pharmaceuticals.
And there's petroleum products and pharmaceuticals.
Everything's so
which is gross. We're eating that.
Yeah, even then plastics. All the plastics are made out of petroleum products. You've heard about the study where we have so much plastic in our bodies from leaching.
Yes.
I think it's like a quarter size each person or something to that effect.
They're finding plastic all over our bodies. It's crazy.
So Rockefeller. So he slowly started buying all these different things. They sued him, Rockefeller, and they created the Glass-Steagall Act, and they broke apart his thing, and they said you can't have these monopolies. Separated all these corporations of his into the different entities where it was all under one Standard Oil. And the interesting thing that you can understand with this is that it'll help you understand what happened with Twitter and Elon Musk. Elon Musk first went to Twitter to buy it. He bought a percentage. And everybody was concerned that they didn't want him to buy it. I think it was over 14%.
Okay, because then he'd have a majority?
Yes. He would, not a majority, but a majority of any other voter on the board. So he would be the majority owner, even though he didn't own a majority of the shares, right? So he would be like a majority owner compared to the other owners. So there's about I don't know how many people, there's 16 people on this board or whatever. And some of these people are appointed and some of them have shares, some of them don't have shares, right? But on every board, you will learn that a percentage of those people are all the same on every major company. So you had J.P. Morgan and you had Wells Fargo represented, and you had the Blackstone people. You had these same players that are in all of the different companies. So the board is 12, 16 people, but there's a majority of 8 people on the board that are bought and paid for.
Okay.
And they're all part of the same cabal of people that own pretty much all of the major companies in America. They don't have to own 50% of the market share. They have to own 50% of the board and have a majority ownership of whoever's on the board. Because the shares are sold to so many different people.
Yeah.
If you have 8% of any given company, you're going to be on the board.
Yeah.
If you have 8% of Twitter, you'll be on that board, right? Not anymore because Elon Musk bought it all, right? Yeah. But you got to see that, and they were the same players that are on every board in every major company. That's the same thing that Rockefeller did. He says, I don't have to own all of my companies 100%. I can scale down, sell, and make a lot more money and own less of all of the companies, right? And then still retain ownership. So then he started buying other industries and then controlling them with the same model. And then he started cross-pollinating, with businesses so that he could control more. For all the hate that Rockefeller gets, he was, a tycoon. They called them the robber barons, right? Rockefeller at one time in his life was worth more than every country than 2. There's only 2 countries that had more wealth than him as a person.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, Rockefeller was no joke. And he just was a ruthless business person, hard. At the end, they really tried to change his understanding, the way that people saw him, and they made him a philanthropist. So he started the Rockefeller Foundation. And then that's what he used to go into education, which he controlled all of education, right? To make more factory workers, right? And to dumb down America, right? So that's where you see a lot of that stuff that comes from it, where you're like, why is it that scientists are so so anti-American, so prone to go with global warming agenda, so prone to go with the vaccine agenda?
Yeah.
It's because all of the universities and all of the boards that do all of the stuff with science are all controlled. The same way that all the food companies are controlled, all the pharmaceutical companies are controlled, all the oil companies are controlled. All of pretty much every company is controlled by this cabal of a group of people that have a secret agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's easily provable.
Yeah.
Like you just go look at the board and find out where they work and who appointed them. You know, and then
follow the money. Yeah.
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 You know, Rush Hour 2 had it right? You follow the rich white guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're totally right. Like, they do control all of the major industries. I was talking to a nurse friend of mine who was, like, very against everything that was going on during COVID. And I was asking her, like, if you can see this as a nurse, as a medical professional, why can't other medical professionals see the same thing? And she was like, because we were not brainwashed, but the way that they were taught, the textbooks, who is the authority, they're basically taught that the FDA, the CDC, they are the ones you follow. You don't think for yourself. You ask them, how should I think? And that really resonated. That made total sense. Because when you come at these people with other facts and information, like, well, where did it come from? Well, not the CDC. Well, then I'm not going to listen to it.
Let me throw my wife under the bus a little bit.
All right.
My wife, she's super educated. She got her degree, she got her master's degree, she got her teaching certificate, and then she got her diagnostician license. So she's pretty much got like a doctorate. Like, she's in tons of school, right? But my wife does not want to read a book to save her life. I'll go bring her a book. Hey, you got to read this, or I'll send her like a 2-hour video documentary or something. She's not gonna watch it. She's not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Right. And the same way doctors are. Doctors, after they finish medical school, they're not gonna go and pick up a book.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go and do some research on stuff. Very few of them do this.
Yeah.
So what they do is they get emails from the different associations that say this is the findings. So they take the cliff notes of everything.
Yeah, summary of all of it. Yeah.
Right? And then they're like, oh, okay, we'll prescribe this new drug. You know what I mean? And then they find out that, it makes you grow a third arm out your back.
Yeah.
Ah, dang.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's kind of why the medical system is under the control and the arm, ironically, of the people that control a lot of stuff, industry, and it's all done through oil. It all started with oil and it all ends with oil, right? And I'm not even talking about when he goes over to Europe and starts buying land and the Saudis and all of that stuff. Like, it goes
deeper. Yeah,
the rabbit hole goes deep. This is how everything has kind of gotten controlled. So that's oil, and then he got control of food, he got control of education. He got control of pharmaceuticals. He got control of working, right? Because he started buying the union.
Yes.
He started, getting the union people together. And he used to have, like, war with these people. They're the working people. Like, there was deaths at a lot of his factories. And Rockefeller pretty much became the most powerful person in America at the time, and mainly used it to just create more monopolies, right? So that's, if you can understand that, you can go to a supermarket, you can walk into a Walmart, and 90% of the items in there are controlled by 3 companies, right? 90% of the stuff there, especially in the States. Yeah. And all of that stuff, it's the stuff that comes out of a box. And it comes out of a bag. On the outside, it's different, right? The outside aisles, right? maybe the Walmart is making the bread and the donuts, and then the milk may be more locally sourced.
Mm-hmm.
The cheese, not so much, but maybe the vegetables more locally sourced, regionally sourced,
Mm-hmm.
right? The meat. Most of our steak is not even made here in the
In the
United States.
U.S., yeah.
They sell our steak to rich people out of the country, right? Because our steak's the best.
Mm-hmm.
The United States steak.
Mm-hmm.
We get most of our steak from Brazil,
Oh, wow.
and they migrate the freaking cows all the way up to America.
Do they butcher here?
They package here.
Okay.
So the packing companies control pretty much everything in the United States when it comes to meats.
Mm-hmm.
Chickens, you're talking steaks,
Mm-hmm.
pigs. All those companies are controlled by the packing companies. Because I think there's only 2 or 3 packing companies in all of the United States.
Yeah.
And they're so big that they lowered the price of everything. Just fascinating. So, what's the solution? I don't want to just give you bad news, right? The solution is A, become independent as much as possible, right? B, buy local and connect to local farmers and people that raise animals and stuff like that, like a local cow person, a local slaughterhouse, something. Spend your money as close as you can to local.
Yes.
And connect with these people.
Yes.
They're going to be probably the most important people you're going to know in the next couple years.
Yes, 100%. Because where do you go if there's no more meat on the shelves at Walmart? Local ranchers. And if you're lucky enough to live near them, I feel like a lot of people are. Like we always buy half a cow. We can't eat a whole cow in a year. So we buy half and it fills up one deep freezer. And we eat that meat the rest of the year.
Wow.
And it's delicious. It's grass-fed, sprout finished. Like they know these cows. It's butchered exactly the way we want it to be. It's packaged the way we want it to be packaged. And it's awesome.
Yeah, that's the way you want to do it. You know, chickens, get some chickens in your backyard. Or go to local, what's the things that you do?
Farmers
the
markets.
Farmers markets. And, you know, they're always selling chicken eggs at the farmer market. Right?
They are, yeah.
And just connect with them. You know, that it's not rocket science. Farming is not rocket science. Now, if you want to do mega farming, yeah, you need to know some rocket science. You know what I mean? But like to have some chickens in your backyard and to connect with the local butcher and a local farmer that has meat. Meat is the most important thing that you'll need to eat.
Yeah.
Everybody's so focused on everything else, but the meat is the only food that will have enough full nutrition to give you everything that you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't, like everybody's like, I'm very anti-vegan. I think vegans are very unhealthy. And everybody's like, oh, but you look at the gorilla, he's so strong, he's not flabby and weak. And I was like, yeah, but he eats like 80% of his day he's awake. Like he's literally chewing all day.
And that's how he was designed.
Yes.
God made them to eat what they eat. Have you ever heard of the hashtag vegan cat? Oh, no. Okay, everybody go onto Twitter or Instagram and look up hashtag vegan cat. So there are these vegans that have decided that their cats are vegans as well.
What?
Because if humans can be vegan, cats can also be vegan. And these cats are emaciated. They're dying. They're losing clumps of hair. It's sad and disgusting. They're dying slowly. And the cats are not made to be...
How can you even make a cat, like imagine giving a cat a piece of lettuce.
Yeah, they're not going to eat it. I don't know. I should do a deep dive and see how they make their food.
Like the cats...
Oh, yeah.
Where's my meow mix?
Where's my meow mix? Just let it outside. It'll catch a bird. It's really sad. And it's the same thing.
I bet you he's trying to get outside so he can get some meat.
Yeah.
You know, eat a mouse or something.
Vegan cat. Poor thing.
No.
It's sad. But it's dumb of people.
People are so stupid. Like those people. You know, that's the other thing is because you don't get no fats.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get any good fats. You're just getting Rockefeller fats.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the
I
good
like that. Rockefeller fats.
Yeah, you're getting all these Rockefeller fats. You might as well just drink some motor oil because the good fats come from meats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, steak meats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like lard and stuff like this. Like
Mm-hmm.
these are the fats that you want to be eating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can get fats out of avocados and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but sustainable
Mm-hmm.
long-term living,
Mm-hmm.
like we just need to follow how people naturally lived,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they naturally lived off of the land.
Yes.
Like the Indians were not like, you know, churning things into in like nuts into oil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were not doing this.
No.
You know what I mean? That's the one thing I would tell you. You know, yes, gasoline is going higher.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to stop anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
The price of oil is going higher.
And by design, they want it to go higher.
Yeah, I think that it's all going to come down to control, to
Yes.
one world system, a one world currency,
Yeah.
one world energy sector. Like, why is it that we have to put solar panels that we have to connect to the grid?
Mm-hmm.
To me, the whole idea of solar panels is so that I don't have to deal with your
Mm-hmm.
BS anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not safe. It's back to this prohibition thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that I can't put tanks outside my house to collect rainwater?
Mm-hmm.
Why is rainwater illegal?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the reasons that they give could make sense, but also, no, I can do whatever I want. Like, I want to sustain myself. I want to do things on my own. Yeah, in El Paso Electric, if you get solar panels, you have to be plugged into the grid. You have to, all of your extra energy, because most people don't have batteries
Yeah.
to gather all of it. So it's only good during the day. You're making tons of electricity for El Paso Electric. It's
Mm-hmm.
pumped back into the grid. You don't really get paid for it. They make it seem like you do, you don't.
Yeah.
It's all a sham. You're making free energy for the electric company.
I watched a show called The Colony. I told you about it a bunch of times. One of the guys, he did that where he created daisy chains of car batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Because car battery, the solar panels come in as AC,
Mm-hmm.
alternative current.
Mm-hmm.
DC, there's DC and AC. I don't know which one's which.
Yeah.
The one that comes from it, we have to turn it into the one that's in our plug,
Mm.
right? So you have to convert it,
Okay.
right? And so he was taking them and he was daisy chaining them, and that's what was storing the energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just daisy chaining car batteries.
Yeah.
Like, it's really that simple.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you another example of something that's pretty stupid. When you buy and sell a house, if I bought a house that's 100 years old, you go and you look at the way that their electricity was run, it was run on fuses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Like your car runs on fuses.
Okay.
Like, you know, you have little things in your
Yeah.
car, right? But now you can't have fuses
Oh.
because it's like an electrical hazard.
Okay.
Okay? So it's an electrical hazard if you have fuses in your house. So you have to change them to the circuit breakers.
Mm.
Okay?
Okay.
And I get it, like, whatever, like, you want a circuit breaker, whatever. But that fuse has worked for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not broken.
Yeah.
Who paid who off to say, you know, we're going to get rid of these fuse boxes and we're going to make everybody get these circuit breakers on their houses, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it seems so asinine and crazy that, like, those little things that they just don't want you to do.
Mm-hmm. They're controlling all of it. Like hemp. I don't know how familiar you are with hemp,
Mm-hmm.
but you can.
I think the Constitution is written on hemp.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
that's right.
hemp paper, yeah.
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 So you can, it's so sustainable. It's so beautiful. You can, there's different types of hemp, and there's some that are made for all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make
Rope.
you can make
I think they still use it
textiles.
in boats.
Yeah, I think that's right. You can make plastic. Did you know you can make plastic?
Really?
Bioplastic out of hemp.
Wow.
Henry Ford made a car bumper out of hemp plastic.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And it's so strong.
Wow.
And the guy that got hemp illegal, that made it illegal, it was first made illegal in El Paso. Did you know that? Like, the war on marijuana
Really?
started here.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he had a monopoly on all of the paper mills. and he saw that people were starting to move towards making paper out of hemp, and so made everybody afraid of hemp and marijuana, and got it shut down. Now it's illegal.
Wow.
And it's a medicine as well. Like, you can make pain balms. It's amazing for inflammation in the body. It's better than a lot of things that we use for inflammation. I had a lady that sprained her wrist. You could not see her wrist bone. It was just like fat. I just thought she had fat arms. We put some pain balm on her, and within 20 minutes, I could see her wrist bone. That's how quick it helps with inflammation.
Wow.
When you consume it, it helps calm your brain. It helps with inflammation. It helps with pain, and it's natural, and it's illegal.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not illegal in like certain states.
Yes.
I wonder if you
It's
can
true.
grow it for paper in other states.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure that Colorado you can. See, so with paper and with making plastic and things like that, there has to be an infrastructure to be able to like make it, the process, and then to be able to sell it. And for whatever reason, people still aren't doing it. I wanted to do hemp, but for textiles, and
For clothing.
yeah, for clothing and things like that. And it takes 3 months to grow, full on plant. And you can, like trees, it takes 20 years to make a full grown tree.
Yeah.
And then you cut it off and then you use it. You can make paper out of 3 months worth of hemp. You can do 3 rounds in 1 year of a field or whatever. Not really a field because of some winter, but
Yeah, you can turn them.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and hemp is a cleaning plant. So it goes into the ground and it takes out heavy metals, and it cleans the soil.
Really?
Yeah, which they'll use that for cleaning out things. So, but that's also why it could be dangerous, because if you're not getting a clean, organic, like beautiful, let's say you're smoking weed, for example, you could, and they planted it in a field that has a lot of heavy metals, you could be smoking heavy metals. So you have to be careful.
Oh.
Isn't that weird?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't even...
Yeah, but that industry was squashed by a man who wanted to continue to make money off of his industry. And there's just so many examples of that in history. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do that. They don't know why they agree, you know?
I'm not a proponent for smoking or whatever. You know, do what you want. Just don't ask me to agree or pay for it.
Yes.
That's my simple rule.
Yeah.
But the idea of like hemp rope and clothing and
Plastic.
and
Plastic made out of plants.
yeah,
It's biodegradable.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And it's hard. And it's not like these paper straws that like fall apart after 20 seconds of using them. It's a legit alternative that's better for the planet. Why aren't we doing it?
Is it just the leaves that you make that, or is it the stem?
The stalks are, so like hemp that's used to make textiles, like rope, they grow really tall, like 15 feet tall, and they're very long and stocky. And then you can cut off that stocky. You can slice it open, and there's fibers in there. So it depends on what you're making.
Okay.
But the plant, the flower, the stalks, all of the biomass, all of it can be used to make stuff.
That's interesting. That's fascinating. I can see it.
Yeah.
You know, alcohol and some mota.
Mota. Yes, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for today.
Yes.
I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. The Red Circle, like and subscribe.
Yes.
Find us on social media if it still exists, or if we've been deplatformed already, even before this comes out, because they're listening to us anyway. And let us know in the comments if you have any questions about the next podcast.
Yes.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye.